Welcome back. If you've just joined us, our guest on today's episode of Question Time is the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Akande. Join us again. What should be the bailout plan for the Nigerian economy?
I also believe that the country is too dependent on oil. We at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, we had a trade fair, and our theme was to encourage non-oil export. I believe that we should encourage non-oil export and encourage people to pay their taxes so that we can get revenue from that. And non-oil exports also involves not only people who are importing, but also export of all our good products. We should not only concentrate on imports, we should also try to promote the export group.
Now, from the proposed budget, we could see a 100% increase in capital expenditure. That means the cost of, that is a strong indication of higher spending from the government. So what's the implication of this?
I'm quite happy to note that the capital expenditure has been increased. The allocation has been increased to 30% as opposed to the 15% that was for budget of 2015. This will encourage funding of infrastructure. And this is very important in the economy. A lot of things will improve with the funding of infrastructure.
The Minister of Budget says the budget will be mainly funded by earnings from the non-oil sector. Does that have the capacity to deliver based on the high capital-intensive nature and the expensive nature of this budget?
I believe that a lot of revenue will be earned from the non-oil exports. And also, taxation is another way where revenue can be earned. Let's take the case of Lagos State. Lagos State made a lot of revenue when Mr. Fowler was the chairman of in Lagos State. He's now the chairman of the federal, and I'm sure he will perform the miracle that he did in Lagos at the federal level.
Do we have the capacity to fund this capital expenditure?
Not at all. A lot of people that have not been paying their taxes have to pay now. Like I said, the man that is at the helm of affairs for the taxation has experience. He has performed in Lagos State, and I'm sure he will also perform at the federal level. I also would like to state that I'm even the tax ambassador for Lagos State. I pay my taxes as and when due, and I was given an award by the Lagos State government. So I believe that a lot of revenue can come from taxation.
There's also a strong indication that there will be huge borrowing in the 2016 budget. Wouldn't that be mounting an undue pressure on the economy?
There is no economy that can survive without some borrowing. So it's not putting it on pressure at all. But we generate some money, but there will be also need to borrow to do some projects.
Could you give some advice on how they should go about this borrowing?
They know what they want to use the borrowing for. It is difficult to give an advice unless you know exactly what the money is going to be used for. But I can assure you, the federal government is very prudent. They are not in for frivolities, and they will only borrow for very good projects.
You are the second female president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry in its 127-year history. How would you assess the opportunities given to women in leadership and also in corporate governance in Nigeria?
Thank you. There have been a lot of women who have distinguished themselves in the corporate world. The incoming chairman for First Bank is a lady, and that will be the first lady in 130 years. Also, we have a lady that is MD of Access Bank. We have another lady who is chairman of GT Bank. I can go on and mention a few women that have distinguished themselves, but we can still do better. The gap between the men and the women is still too wide, and we need more women in positions of authority.
What is the LCCI doing to encourage women entrepreneurship in Nigeria?
At the Lagos Chamber, we have a very vibrant women's group. We do a lot to encourage women to promote their businesses, and they always meet regularly. You can see that at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the women folk are in positions of authority. You find women in oil, in different spheres of business, and they are doing well. And we try as much as possible to help them with their businesses. We should try and encourage exports of our products, and we should not export our primary products. There should be added value to our primary products, and then we can export to other countries as well. We should not only import, we should also export. Some of them, their problem is how to get access to capital. I have been a director of a bank. I'm a director of a bank, and I was in charge of Bank of Industry. So there are a lot of things that I'm bringing to the notice of the women to help them with their businesses.
Unemployment is a big problem in the country right now. What should government do to solve this issue?
I cannot agree more with you that unemployment is a big problem. But what we can do to stem this unemployment is to, people concentrate mainly on university education. They should be encouraged to do vocational education as well. You find that most of the people, after graduating, cannot get jobs. And we at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, we train some of our members so that they can also be their own bosses and also employ other people. We know that unemployment is a big problem, but we at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, we are quite aware of this, and we're doing a lot to stem this.
In what ways is the LCCI contributing in promoting entrepreneurship amongst the youth?
We have a mentoring group. Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been on for quite some time. We have a mentoring group. We attach people to mentors, mentors to mentee for the mentees, and they are all benefiting. In fact, a few of them have just graduated recently, and they will be their own bosses.
You can also be part of this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing up on your screen. Coming up on Question Time, what is Dr. Nika Akande's view on the economic policies of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration? Do stay with us.